Hey, welcome back to Purple Mafia. Well, figured I'd get on here to talk about my guy Cam Akers. He's on his way to the New Orleans Saints apparently as of Friday, about a day ago. Catherine Terrell of ESPN says the New Orleans Saints on Friday signed running back Cam Akers to a one-year deal following a tryout at minicamp this week. So Cam Akers has gone again. Will the Vikings trade for him again? I like Cam Akers, so I'm a little bit sad. I kind of had a feeling once the Vikings acquired Jordan Mason in the trade that probably moving on from Cam Akers. So that's unfortunate. I've always liked Cam Akers. I liked when the Vikings traded for him 2 years ago, and he had the unfortunate second Achilles tear, and then I trade for him again last year from Houston after he scored a receiving touchdown against the Vikings. The one point they scored, the one score the Houston Texans had in the game was Cam Akers receiving a touchdown. That was kind of funny, and one of the few Viking blowout victories. Otherwise, it's always close games. It seems like, which is annoying. But 14 wins is 14 wins. Unfortunately, they couldn't turn it into anything a whole lot better. Uh, but I don't know. I'm a fan. I liked what Cam Akers did for the Vikings last year. I liked what Cam Akers was doing for the Vikings, especially the year before, when clearly it looked like he should have been the starter. Whereas last year, I'm not as big of a Jones fan as a lot of the rest of you are. Aaron Jones. I don't know. I'm not as big a fan as most Viking fans are, but that's kind of, I guess that's we all have a right to our opinion. Last year, Cam Akers, believe it or not, did have 444 yards and 2 touchdowns. Vikings had very few rushing touchdowns last season, 3 receiving for Cam Akers, which is funny because, again, one of them at least was against the Minnesota Vikings just a few weeks before the Vikings traded for him again. But now he is the New Orleans Saints running back. Remember the unfortunate Achilles tear very early in his, was it his rookie year or second year, and then he wound up getting a Super Bowl ring. That's crazy. Second year. That's what I thought. Second season. Cam Akers has never broken through like where he's become like a great statistic guy. Always been kind of like that, at solid, maybe Chester Taylor like running back without getting to 1,000 yards. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's injury prone or what it is, but he showed promise last year. So again, very bummed to lose him. I think there's something there. He did get about 300 yards for the Vikings last year, and that was again Aaron Jones as the starting running back. The year before, you saw a very smooth player back in 2023, but again, the unfortunate Achilles tear, and that was kind of all she wrote. So, God bless Cam Akers. Maybe the Vikings trade for him again. Very quickly, we're going to go to at Purple Mafia Show. Again, this is, of course, Purple Mafia is a podcast, so just in case you're listening, it is on the Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Those are the two main ones, but of course several other apps you can go to, Odyssey, Audible. Well, not Audible, but what's that other one called? It's with Amazon. So many others out there as well. Actually, it is Audible, but so many other options out there, Player FM and such. But again, at Purple Mafia Show is the Twitter. Encourage you to give that a follow. Tanae Brown out of New Zealand. We're going to talk about Tanae here on Twitter, or on YouTube here in this case. He says, "I wonder who will trade to get him back." Ha ha. So yep, Janae coming out of New Zealand, of course, great friend, known him for over a decade already, starting with Timberwolves Explosion. We're gonna have a Timberwolves State of the Timberwolves episode coming out very soon as we're heading towards the draft here. So that's coming out like as soon as tomorrow night. With the pending NBA championship, one way or another, Game 7 in the NBA Finals. Anyhow, go Pacers, wink, wink. Go North Stars, too. No, I wish they still existed. Today says, I wonder who will, trade to get him back. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Sorry. Maybe another 5th-round pick. I don't know. Wouldn't be surprised if the Vikings did something funny like that. But I don't know. It's like we refuse to just sign the guy. Gosh, I mean, you trade for him the first time around, and then you trade for him again, and then, doggone it, and then you lose him again as a free agent. So kind of sad. But wishing Cam Akers the best. Looks like he's wearing number 38 with the Saints. We'll see if that changes. I got to think he's good enough to make the team. Cam Akers is an NFL running back. Again, like I was saying, he could be a Chester Taylor-like guy. He could be whatever. That's kind of how I see him, a Chester Taylor type, maybe like a poor man's Chester Taylor. In his prime, though, he could pretty much be a Chester Taylor, like without maybe like minus the Achilles tears and such. But with all of that said, thank you so much. If you happen to live in the Twin Cities, stay cool, or other parts of the United States that might be dealing with this excessive heat and humidity wave. It's a combination of heat and humidity. So if you're like me and you hate humidity, well, whatever. Great swimming weather for everything else. There's MasterCard. I don't know. Um, but for everything else, yeah, I don't know. It's not too fun. With all that said, thank you, and do check out the podcast, please. And yeah, eventually I might end up doing video and podcast at the same time, but just haven't gone around that route yet, and maybe some better video quality. We'll see. But with all that said, thank you, and we'll talk to you soon.